say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Let's talk about marriage.
They have like a 2-second rebound rate and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
Parenting. Oh my gosh.
They have sucked the pretty right out of me. They treat me like it, and I do their laundry. Lucky me.
Sex.
I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Scary stuff like ghosts. I know, it's totally out of left field, but just go with me on this.
Boo, you whore.
Love.
I give you what you need. That's all. I'm talking about taking care of each other the best you can. What's wrong with taking care of a woman? She takes care of you.
Friendships.
Lincoln, our necklace says best friends forever.
Actually, you want it to say forever? I don't think you guys will be best friends forever, no offense. But sometimes you grow apart, and maybe she'll find a new best friend. They end up doing everything together.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Sadie and Friends. And today, my friend, guest co-hosting on the show is my friend Stetson, and Stetson is a bud tender. Would you say is that what you are?
Yeah, bud tender is a great description. It's because we're basically like bartenders, kind of help you figure out what you want, what you need, tell you about it, give you the prices like all in one. Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning, Stetson.
Yeah.
What are you watching on TV right now?
Oh man, I'm actually watching Severance right now.
You, Mr. Milchick!
I know I'm a little behind, but I'm about halfway through season 2. And of course, I'm watching the Nuggets in the playoffs right now. So go Nuggies.
Go Nugs.
Yeah.
You get what I did there?
That was dumb.
Yeah. Oh, go Nug. Yeah.
I tried to watch Severance, and I have to say that I made it through like about halfway through season 2. And I have to tell you that it just got so weird. It got so out there that I thought, is this ever going to get anywhere? I mean, do you like it, or are you also kind of like on the fence about it?
I'm liking it. I don't know if it ever will get anywhere. Like, kind of my theory is that they're all just an experiment being studied, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to finish the second season and get back to you, because I kind of hope they don't drag it out too much longer, because I want to see what the heck's going on.
See, and that's what my concern is. Did you watch Lost when Lost was on TV?
I didn't. I think I was just a few years behind Lost.
I'm old. Yeah. So when Lost, I was like 1000% into this show, and I dedicated like years. That show was on for years. And then at the end, I felt like it was like, oh shit, we got to come up with an ending. And so they just threw out something totally random. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with Severance.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope not, because I've enjoyed how clever the show is. I'm hoping that they can come up with like a clever ending.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I really like Adam Scott, who is like the lead in the show, and Patricia Arquette. They're really, really good. I mean, it's got a stacked lineups. John Turturro.
Nobody with the Jesus.
And Christopher Walken.
You're talking to me all wrong. It's the wrong tone.
And I mean,
Christopher Walken.
He's so good in it. But again, still, I'm very weary. I think I'm going to wait until it's all done. And then I'll hear, was it a good ending? Was it a Game of Thrones ending? It'll be kind of like that, which was so bad, right?
It was unsatisfying.
It was so bad. So yesterday was kind of like the Super Bowl for you guys. It was also Easter. Were you guys open on Easter Day?
Oh, yeah. We're open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We had a line of people waiting on us to open. It was a blast.
I have to say that was probably the dumbest question I've ever asked. If you guys are open on 420.
Oh, no. We got calls all day if we were going to be open, like desperate calls. Like, you guys going to be open? I think people needed us with their family in town.
I was going to ask you, that was one of the questions that I was going to ask you. Do you find it, I mean, yes, of course, Easter and 420 seem to collide on the same day, but do you find holidays are a busy time because people get that anxiety about hosting?
You got a weird family. Who doesn't?
Or going to see that weird uncle.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Or having to face questions about why are you still single? Like, do you visibly see more people coming in during holidays?
I definitely do see more of that, but I'd say like more of the driving factor is actually the family members coming in to visit, whether it's like, the cousins that definitely want to, try some cannabis when they're here, or whether it's like the old grandma that kind of passively is like, oh, I've never tried that cannabis stuff before. In my experience, it's the actual family members that are driving the interest and demand. And then the hosts are like, well, maybe I'll pick something up, or maybe I'll plan to take everybody to the dispensary and check it out, because they kind of know everybody's curious about it.
Do you ever have anybody come in and kind of rage against the machine, and maybe they're coming in with a family member who's like 100% in, gonna try it, let's do it, and then you kind of have like a stiff ass who's like, I would never do such a thing. I mean, how do you deal with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like, it's usually the kind of the grandpa doesn't want to show his ID, he wants no record whatsoever that he was even in here. He's like looking for cameras, he's hiding his face. Those guys are funny. I just try to kind of extend just a niceness to them, because one of my favorite things is seeing them turn around and realize that we're pretty cool. And if I can get a chuckle out of one of those guys, that's always my goal.
Well, I have to say that I put up on social media before we spoke, because I knew we were going to be talking. So I put up on social media, in honor of 420, what is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you while, quote, gardening, unquote. And so I'm going to ask you that before I give you some of these answers, because there is one answer that is sticking out that someone submitted, and I have been laughing all morning about it.
Well, I mean, the kind of one of the stories that I always tell is, so I just have to be honest here. I did consume in high school. So one of the first times that I went out in public, I went to the roller rink, or the, what do they call it? Skating rink. We call it the rocket roller rink.
Was it your first time ever trying it?
No, just first time in public, but it was like the first handful of times. So this is the first time actually leaving my friend's house. And my girlfriend at the time, her dad was a police officer. Oh, shit! And her uncle was a sheriff. Oh, shit! And so I turn up, and it just so happens that her dad's there, her uncle's there, my principal is there. Oh, shit! My English teacher is there. Oh, shit! I'm from a small town, and I immediately regretted my decision. I went and hid in a corner until my other friends were ready to leave. It was a bad time. That's the only really funny thing I could think of that's happened.
Well, listen to this one that came in. That's a good one. But I think that happens sometimes more often than this person that wrote in that said they took an edible and they accidentally took more than they should have. Some people just go for it and they take 2 or 3 when they should have just taken a quarter of one. This person said they went to a party in college. They had way too many edibles, thinking that, we're going to cut loose and it's going to be fun. And they literally in their mind thought they pooped their pants. Oh, shit. He's looking.
They had some of that brown bomber strain, dude. Oh, my goodness.
So this person says they literally sat on the couch the entire party, just in their mind thinking, how am I going to get out of this? How do I stand up? How do I get... Well, as it kind of slowly wore off, they realized that they did not indeed poop their pants. And I don't know why Stetson, that just made me laugh so hard when I read it, because I thought that is something that would totally happen to me.
Well, I got to ask, did they actually poop their pants?
No.
Not even some racing stripes.
Nothing.
Oh.
This person said at the end of the evening when it had kind of worn off, this person sat for hours on the couch, and they said since then I've learned how to regulate what I like and my comfortable spot, and I no longer go balls to the wall when it comes to taking edibles. That just made me laugh. So let's transition into, say you're a first timer and you're going into the dispensary. What is the protocol when you go in? Because a lot of people, it may be intimidating if they've never done it before.
Absolutely. So there is kind of a lot of steps, and it can be very intimidating. But essentially, if you just have your ID ready, because everybody has to have their ID checked. It doesn't matter how old you are. Literally, if the owner of the company comes in, we're going to be checking their ID. So don't think that it's anything weird. Everybody has to have their ID checked, and you'll always get it checked twice too. You get called into the store, You get your ID checked. Our front desk people here at LivWell are very nice. And then you'll hop in line. And you'll just have to wait in line for a bud tender to call your name, because here in Colorado, the rules are very finicky and you have to actually like be with somebody the entire time. So that's actually a good thing. So the bud tender is your personal shopper, is what I like to call them. You just have to wait for your personal shopper to be ready to help you out. And they'll usually ask you kind of an open-ended question like, what are you here for? What do you like? What are you looking for? And the only thing at this point that I would recommend having narrowed down is if you're looking to smoke or to eat edibles or to vape, and that'll help the bud tender a lot narrow down what they're going to be showing you rather than the whole store. Our bud tenders are so great and they can take it from there. Like if they say you're looking for flower, they'll ask you what kind of flower, they'll tell you the differences, they'll let you see them, smell them. So, just have a general idea of what you're looking for, and I promise you the bud tenders will take care of the rest for you.
And you work at, as you mentioned, you work at LivWell Dispensary. There are locations all over. I just saw on your social media that you guys have a store by Red Rocks Amphitheater.
We do, and I forget there's actually a big show going on here soon that they're gearing up ready for. They've always got to be ready for whatever shows are happening there. So definitely, if you're at a show at Red Rocks, stop by there for, after party mint.
I just think it's so brilliant because you don't get that next day hangover. You don't get that next day sickness or that awful feeling. So I don't know. That's why I'm a little bit more drawn to it. I still enjoy occasionally having a drink, but there's definitely a difference in how you feel. I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know if it's just a preference thing, but you definitely feel better. For me, it's a lot more relaxing. And as somebody that I have serious social anxiety, for me, it makes a lot of situations just a lot more calm and relaxing. And I feel like when I talk about it, Stetson, on the podcast, I feel like I'm not trying to make a case for it. I'm just trying to, maybe someone is out there who has these same struggles and they're really not sure if they want to take that leap. Maybe it's been drilled into them by, damn it, Nancy Reagan and the whole DARE situation.
Just say no.
And maybe it's just been drilled into them. Maybe they don't feel like they could tell their family. Maybe they are a grandparent. They've never tried it their entire life and it's taboo. But truly, it can work miracles. Now, there's a difference, though, between going in and getting recreational items for a concert at Red Rocks. I mean, maybe you obviously have a designated driver, but that's a lot of people. The parking gets really crazy. And so if you can calm yourself down. But what is the difference between just recreational and medical?
So for, like you mentioned, for recreational consumers, it's all about the party, the high, feeling good, or maybe relaxing, enjoying yourself at a show. That's the main reason that you're consuming. Now, for the medical patient, it's going to be a little bit different. They're going to be taking it because it helps them with their pain. They're going to be taking it because it helps take their mind off of whatever illness that they might have at the time. And for the most part, the cannabis that they smoke is going to be very similar to recreational cannabis, but for them, it's the mindset's different. They're doing it for quality of life rather. And then for the edible portion, the edibles on the medical side are much more geared towards sedation and relaxation and sleep, and also for helping these medical patients with their pain. So the medical edibles are much stronger, and for most people, it's just going to make you either want to lay on the couch or go to bed. And that doesn't sound like a good thing to a recreational user, but to somebody who is going through an illness or a disease, just being able to lay on the couch or to go to bed in comfort is all that they're looking for, really.
So what if, say that I know somebody, or say someone out there is listening and they know someone who is struggling with the disease, whether it's cancer or it's PTSD, or maybe it's something as simple as, insomnia, but they're really unsure about coming in. How would you pitch this idea to them of, why don't you try this? Because it fascinates me that there are so many different drug companies and drugs drugs, and this drug has this side effect, and this, but you can take this drug to help with that side effect. And it just is amazing to me that that is so accepted, and then this is so taboo. So how do you kind of break that barrier with people and explain, I know it's taboo, but here are the things that it can do for you?
Well, I like to tell the story of my grandpa, who did unfortunately pass away from cancer, but I got him to try cannabis for the first time when he got sick. And it took a while for him to be okay with it, and he had to get very sick before he eventually tried it. But once he tried it one time, he thought it was amazing. It just relieved his pain. It relieved his anxiety about the cancer that he had. And the famous quote that I like to say is, he said, "You mean to tell me I've been wasting my money on 6-packs all this time when I could have just had a little pinch of this and been much better off?" And, I was like, yeah, Grandpa, this is much better than drinking. And unfortunately, he did pass away from liver cancer as well.
You're like, if you would have just got rid of the 6-pack years ago, that might have helped,
And there's nothing to get around the fact that cannabis is intoxicating, and that's part of the relief that you get from it. But don't try to think about the pleasant feeling as a side effect, because mostly what it's for is for your pain relief and for your mindset when you're going through such a tough time, such as battling cancer.
Well, I have to tell you that, not to segue off of that, but in honor of 420, what do you guys still have deals going on right now, or are they done?
Now, all of our big deals, kind of our 420 deals, have ended, but we have deals going on all the time. Kind of one of the best things about LivWell is that our prices are awesome. And I'm pulling up the sales that we got going on right now. So this week, our post 420 sales, we've got $57 ounces of capital G only. So that's going to be your biggest deal if you missed out on all of our big 420
now, wait
stuff.
a sec. Not to interrupt you, Stetson, but you got to explain this like I'm a second grader, because I have to tell you that while I do enjoy it, I like when it gets to like buying a certain amount of nugs and then grinding them up and then putting them in that is so far over my head. So explain to me what that is.
Like kind of the flour end of it, or like what an ounce is?
Yeah, like explain, okay, because you're talking about, tell me again what that sale was.
Yeah, a $57 ounce. So that's like our Costco deal. That is the most that you can buy at one time. That's the most you can leave with. And we got a Costco deal on it for $57.
So what is it? Is it just flour? Yeah. How does that work?
It's a plastic container of flour, 28 grams. And you can use that to roll into joints. You can pack bowls with it. We sell little pipes to be able to smoke it out of. If you're an edible person, that's enough to make a good batch of brownies. You can do a lot with an ounce of flour. It's very versatile.
Like people who cook it, how often do you see people who cook it in different candies or cookies? Or because I knew somebody that made chocolate bars.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we see it all the time. Most people are smoking the ounces that we get, but it's definitely a thing that like my grandmother does when she goes and buys an ounce, and then she turns it into butter and then turns that into brownies. So it's a fun thing. It's for people who like baking and stuff. But yeah, it comes as buds or as nug. I like big nugs, and I cannot lie.
I see what you did there.
But you break them down and you put them in the grinder and you grind them up, and then it makes it a lot smaller and a lot easier to either smoke or turn into edibles.
So how long do you have this Costco deal of flour going on?
So that's going to be for this week, but it doesn't really go up that much. It goes up to $64 after this week. That's just like was our last chance 420 deal. But we got a lot of other stuff if you're not into the flour specifically. If you just want some pre-rolls, or if you just want like a joint or some edibles, we've got deals on those as well.
What else you got going on for sale right now at LivWell?
So if you like edibles, I'll tell you the brands. We've got Good Tide. That's a really awesome awesome brand of edibles that I like. We've got our own brand of gummies. They're called Matter gummies. That's what you're going to ask for. And we have our own brand of chocolates. It's full melt chocolates. Those are 25% off all this week. And then we do have sales that we do all the time that aren't limited to just this week. So if you like vape cartridges, so that's just the stuff, the ones you screw onto a battery and it just vapes for you, kind of like a nicotine vape, but THC. We've got bulk deals on those. We have deals on sodas. I know, crazy, but it's summertime. We have deals on sodas. It's not a drill. We have a deal with, I believe it's Safeway. Some of their locations, if you look on the back of their receipts, we've got a 15% off total purchase. So go get your groceries and then come get your other groceries here.
And what I love about that is summertime, people think of like, I'm going to pop open a White Claw. I'm going to drink one of them White Claw seltzers. And it's like, it's not the exact same thing, but if you're kind of looking for just a chill situation, you guys offer drinks as well.
Yes, absolutely. They're called Keef Cola is my favorite brand. They have traditional sodas that taste just like cola or just like root beer. You can hardly taste the weed at all. And then they do actually have seltzers too. You can crack open a Keef seltzer. They have like I think a coconut seltzer. They have like a mixed berry seltzer that has no calories in it. So we do have the White Claws of weed here.
Is there anything else you wanted to add, Stetson, here?
Look,
can you believe we're getting to the end of our time talking together? I took way too much time talking about that guy that pooped his pants, but I don't regret it at all.
Oh man, that's okay. I didn't know that the brown bomber strain really exists. I thought that was just something from that movie Grandma's Boy.
What does that mean? What is a brown bomber?
There's that movie Grandma's Boy, and it's kind of the scene at the end, and he rolls all the different types of weed together into one joint, and he calls it the brown bomber.
This one's called the brown bomber because when you smoke it, you get so stoned you your pants.
You get so stoned you yourself. If you haven't seen Grandma's Boy, it is a great stoner movie. It's amazing.
Better than Half Baked?
I don't know if it's better than Half Baked. It's a different movie. It's much more vulgar than Half Baked.
Wow, that is saying something. Because I think if you've seen Half Baked, you remember when that guy quit his fast food job.
Still waiting on that heifer, Julio. You're cool. You, I'm out.
What do you think? Is there anything else you want to add?
I think one thing I wanted to, I mentioned big time about the ID at the beginning, that was very important. I want just everybody to know what IDs are acceptable. We take regular driver's licenses, we take passports, we take tribal IDs, we can take border crossing cards, we can even take some federal concealed carry cards, but don't bring in your library card and think that that's going to work. Just want everybody to be prepared because I don't want you to drive down here and then not be able to get in.
Now, where are your locations at? I mean, obviously there's one in Fort Collins off of North College Avenue. Where else are you guys located at? Because people listening might not live near that area, but in Colorado. So what are some different locations you guys offer?
Okay, so we have 22 locations in Colorado, and they're almost all up and down the east foothills, all the way from Fort Collins, Denver, Colorado Springs. We have a few, we're out in Garden City too, for the people out in the Eastern Plains. That'll be your closest location. We have some in Evans. I believe we have a location in Lyon, so for all your mountain people. And then I think that we have one location over on the western side. But if you are in Colorado on the eastern slope, there is going to be a LivWell within an hour or two of you. I can almost guarantee it.
Get in there and get those amazing deals no matter what you're looking for. And if you've never gone before, I promise it's easy. I mean, obviously you don't have to buy anything, but just hear what these experts have to say, because the folks at LivWell, they really are experts. And I personally go to Stetson when I go in, but they have amazing employees there. Go in and see Stetson.
And if Stetson isn't available, I actually have some of my key bud tenders that I really like talking to, and that will treat you right. If Stetson's not available, Ask for Claire. You can ask for Chad, Marky, Austin, Jake. Those are all my favorite people. Claire is actually our lead bud tender. She's the most knowledgeable and will treat you amazing, I'm sure. And actually, I want to add in here, if you mention my name, which is Stetson, just like the cowboy hat, I will let you get a 15% discount. I'll come over there myself, give you a 15% discount. And if I'm not there, we'll still get you hooked up. But just mention Stetson or mention Sadie. Tell them that they sent you over and we'll get you a discount. That's at the Fort Collins location. So you have to come see me at the Fort Collins location.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to be talking to Stetson here and there just about all the technologies in the cannabis world, what's going on, and the brown bomber and how to avoid that. Everybody should try to avoid that. Stetson, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.